Sri Lankans have cast their ballots in a snap general election. The polls will determine whether or not the island nation wants to further empower its new president, Anura Kumara Dissanayake. Now, as Sri Lanka struggles to recover from a crushing financial crisis, Dissanayake seeks to secure a majority in the parliament to push his policies. Voting began at 7 a.m. and ended at 4 p.m. local time. Counting will begin shortly. In the latest, the Commissioner General of Elections has said that the first election results will be released by 10 p.m. today. The final results are expected by Friday evening. There are 225 parliamentary seats on the ballot. 17 million voters of the island nation will be exercising their right on Thursday, with 8,800 candidates contesting the election. That's today. The parliamentary election process has certain special provisions to it. Of the total 225 seats in the parliament, Sri Lankans vote directly for 196. For the remaining 29, political parties elect lawmakers on the basis of national vote percentage of every party. Just days after he was elected president, Dissanayake dissolved the parliament on the 24th of September to clear the way for the general election. The Parliament's 5-year term was due to end in August 2025, but the polls seemed necessary for Disanayake's National People's Power Party, as the NPP currently has just 3 lawmakers in the outgoing Parliament as per the 2020 mandate. The President hopes for a fresh mandate that he needs to push his policies. His main challenger is Sajid Premadasa's SJB, which currently holds 54 seats. This time, several big faces have stepped away from the spotlight. Ranil Wickremesinghe, who lost the presidential elections to Anura Kumara Dissanayake, will not be contesting an election for the first time since 1977. The Rajapaksa brothers, Mahinda and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who were ousted from power after the 2022 economic crisis, are also not participating in the electoral contest. And joining us live on the broadcast now is our correspondent, Dasuni Athauda from Colombo. Dasuni, thank you so much for joining us. As I mentioned, of course, the polling has closed. Counting is to begin shortly. Expected results are to come around 10 p.m. What can you tell us?
Well, yes, polling has now officially closed, with observers quoting a figure between 60 to 65 as the total voter turnout for this election. This indeed is a decrease in a little over 10% in comparison to what we saw in the presidential polls, which was held 2 months ago. That's not all. The surrounding, as we see right now, we are anticipating rain within the next 30 minutes or so, which might cause delays, especially in terms of transporting ballot boxes, which might further cause hindrances towards beginning this counting process. Now, election officials did say that they will begin the counting of postal votes, which is quite normal here in Sri Lanka's election counting process, where they will begin with the postal votes and then move on to the ballot votes that were secured today.
Right, Dasuni. That being said, as I mentioned earlier, this election was very important for Anura Kumara Dissanayake to push his policies. That being said, what are some of the key policies that Sri Lankans are in for going ahead?
A lot of people who are voting in favor of President Dissanayake are hopeful of change, especially in terms of better tax policies, better livelihoods, reducing the costs of living, amongst a lot of other causes for which the president, during his presidential campaign, was voicing his support for, which is why a lot of people who are voting in favor for this current government feel that they need candidates, rather, who will take seats in this 225-member House that will sort of support this vision for change of President Dissanayake.
All right. Well, Dasuni, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We'll, of course, continue to track all developments closely with you there. And as Sri Lankans went to polls in the snap parliamentary elections, our guest, Dr. Rajni Gamage, research fellow at Institute of South Asian Studies, will tell us more about the new political shift in the island nation. Listen to this.
Because as we know, Sri Lanka is still only a couple of years in the aftermath of the 2022 economic crisis. We saw the President Dissanayake, when he assumed power in late September this year, he did continue with the IMF program, and he even continued with many of the appointments of the past government. And so while the NPP and President Dissanayake appear to be very committed to lessen the transfer of the costs of the reforms program and the austerity measures that have followed.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.